आत्मैवात्मसुष्यति
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो युक्त इति उच्यते तदा.
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा.
The translation. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. So, definition of a perfect yogi is viniyatam chittam. His consciousness is very disciplined. Discipline means he has practiced on how to, you know, make become Krishna conscious. Think about Krishna, etc. So they practice, uh, remembrance of some philosophy, some Upanishadic statements like that. Of course, in case of devotional service, remembrance of past times. So that also they do it as a sadhana. So we have like disciplined consciousness means yeah we are chanting every day 2 hours, 16 rounds we are chanting. So that is disciplined consciousness. And same way some sadhana, so some attending some arati or online, offline, whatever. So this is like disciplining our consciousness. Atman eva tishtate means it's fixed on spiritual things. It's related to spiritual and nispruha sarva kamebhyo. No material desires at all. So this comes by advancement. Yeah, so no material desires at all. Okay. Yeah, okay, read the purport.
Uh, Activities of yogi are the activities of the yogi are distinguished from those of an ordinary person by his characteristics, cessation from all kind of material desires, of which sex is the chief. A perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of the mind that he can no longer be disturbed by any kind of material desire. This perfection stage can automatically be attained by a person in Krishna consciousness, as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.18 to 20. सा वे मना कृष्ण पदारविंदे वचांसि वैकुंठ गुणानुवर्णने कारो हरेण मंदिर आदि मार्जनादु मार्जनेदिषु
Sakara,
श्रितम श्रुत श्रुतिम
Sakara, Achyuta Sattva.
चकार सत्व.
Okay, okay, I'll recite. मुकुन्दलिङ्गालय दर्शनादृशौ तद्वृत्य गात्रा स्पर्शाङ्गसङ्गमम् घ्राणं च तत्पादसरोजसौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्या रसनं तदर्पिते पादौ हरे कृष्णपदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्येन तु कामकाम्यया यतोत्तमश्लोकजनाश्रयरति. Yeah, this is like description of Ambarish Maharaj, how he has disciplined his consciousness and how he's only engaging his mind in Atma only. Okay, then you can read the last paragraph, this transcendental stage.
Yeah, this transcendental stage may be inexpressible subjectively by the follower of of the impersonalist path, but it becomes very easy and practical for a person in Krishna consciousness, as it apparent in the above description of engagement of Maharaj Ambarish. Unless the mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance, such transcendental engagement are not practical. In the devotional service of Lord, therefore, these prescribed activities are called archana, or engaging all senses in the service of the Lord. The senses and the mind require engagement. Simple
Abnegation.
abnegation is not practical. Therefore, for people in general, especially those who are not in renounced order of life, transcendental engagement of the senses and the mind, as described above, in the perfect process of transcendental achievement, which is called yukta in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, so like Prabhupada also emphasizes for householders the importance of deity worship. So that is a good engagement for body and mind also. So that is one thing. And yeah, like the impersonalists, they try to uh, they try to meditate on no, nothingness. No, they, it appears also little weird. No, meditating on something nothing, and no meditating on some light or no something. All this it theoretically also appears weird, but no, it's difficult because we are persons. So when we can, it is easy for us to meditate on a person, but no. So meditating on these impersonalistic things, no, they are more tough. And no, that's why Prabhupada is saying it's not practical. Further, Prabhupada also describes this in the 12th, yeah, in the 12th chapter. That no klesho adhikarastesham, the discussion comes in that. Yes, yes, Yashas Prabhu, some question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. As
Yeah,
described in the purport, we have to remember always Krishna. But we can see that in a practical, it's some seems like impossible
yeah,
because we are, while doing our work, we are work thinking about our work, not
yeah,
Krishna. Okay, we have
yeah,
to do like this, do like. For example, if I'm making a garland for Krishna, so I'm
yeah,
thinking about the garland, how which flower I have to choose, which color combination is to be good, and
yeah.
yeah, in our practical work there is a lots of things. So
Hmm.
Prabhuji, how can we connect with the our goal is clear, our work is for Krishna, but for always remember, how can we connect this verse for that consciousness?
Yeah. So yeah, like no, our acharyas they say that no, it's not like constantly means every moment. It is, but to start with, yeah, they say at least once in a day. Then they say then the frequency can increase. So yeah, once in a day, yeah, at least you're taking darshan online or you have some photos of deities and all. So that way, and you hear something about Krishna. So that way, you may remember Krishna. So that's what one has to see at what stage one is and how much one can how much one should expect or no. So then accordingly, it will happen gradually. That way. And also we may not remember Krishna directly. We may remember some. Somebody may like to remember some songs, Vaishnav songs, or someone may like to remember some verses. So that also somebody may like to sing kirtan. That is also fine. So yeah, directly trying to remember Krishna's pastimes. We may not have that taste also, or we may not even have that sambandha also. So it will happen gradually. Now that verses will come, Shanai Shanai Uparame. So that will come. Okay. And this is no, this is told. So this Dhyana Yogi, he has actually means he has practiced Nishkama Karma and he has purified his heart. So now, so that's why he will be able to do. Then he renounced the world and he's able to do. But we means we are not no means still our hearts have to be purified by doing services and taking doing prescribed duties and all. And as it will take some time and all. Then as we become more, our heart becomes more purified. We may be also able to remember more. Okay, so yada dipo nivatasto ningate sopama smrita
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता
yogino yata chittasya yunjato yunjato yogamapmana.
योगिनो यत्त चित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः.
Okay, translation. So just a minute. Okay, I'll read. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. So, yeah, lamp does not waver in a windless place. Similarly, the consciousness of a perfect yogi does not waver from Atma. Okay, okay, purport Prabhupada writes, a truly Krishna conscious person, always absorbed in transcendence, in constant undisturbed meditation on his worshipable Lord. He is as steady as a lamp in a windless place. Yes. Yes, so this is an ideal. No, for us, this may not happen if, let's say, taking 2 hours of chanting, it may not happen all the 2 hours. But let's say if it happens few minutes, few Maha mantras, this is happening, it is good. So we should see how we can maintain that and how we can improve on that. So we should see that is a blessing of Krishna and reciprocation of Krishna. And we can see how we can get more mercy of Krishna and improve that. Yeah. Okay. So next, now in this, no, the consciousness of that yogi and the nature of happiness is described. Yatro, par. Of course, no, these all verses are more like ideals because this is a very advanced yogi whose consciousness is being described here. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya.
यत्तो प्रमते चित्तम निर निरुद्धम योग सेवया
यत्र चैवात्म यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन् आत्मनि तुष्यति.
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन् आत्मनि तुष्यति
सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तद् बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम्.
सुखम आत्मतिकम यत्तद बुद्धि ग्रह्य अतीन्द्रियम
वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः.
वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितः चलति तत्त्वतः
यं लब्ध्वा च परं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः.
यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते.
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुरापि विचालयेत्
तं विद्या दुःखसंयोगं वियोगं योगसंज्ञितम्.
तं विद्याहु दुःखसंयोगं योगसंज्ञितम्
Okay, so the translation. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. Yeah. So one is also able to rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So the consciousness is blissful, uparamata, and freed from matter, niruddham. So there is no thinking of anything material, and is satisfied in Paramatma, Atmani Tushyati. So this is the nature of consciousness, and now the nature of happiness which he is experiencing. So it's beyond material senses, Atindriyam, and it is experienced by intelligence of the Atma, Buddhi Grahyam, and it is unlimited, Atyantikam, and it is fully satisfied, Vetina Yatra, and Gurunapi na vichalyate. He is not disturbed by anything. Gurunapi na vichalyate. Yeah, like if you see Prabhupada, no, his factory got burnt and no money got stolen and all. But no, he was reciting that verse, no, that no, if Krishna mercifully blesses, he takes away everything from the devotee. So one can see Krishna at that in that moment, and when he got 2 heart attacks, also his Krishna consciousness did not get disturbed. So that is the level of happiness one experiences when one is in advanced Krishna consciousness. Okay. Yes, you can read the purport.
By practice of yoga, one becomes gradually detached from material concepts. This is primary characteristic of yoga principle. And after this, one becomes situated in trance or samadhi, which means that the yogi realizes the super soul through transcendental mind and intelligence without any of the misgiving of identify the self with the super self. Yoga practice is more yoga practice is more or less based on the principle of Patanjali system. Some unauthorized commentators try to identify the individual soul with the super soul, and the monist thinks this is to be liberation, but they do not understand the real purpose of Patanjali system of yoga. There is an accept of transcendental pleasure in Patanjali system, but the monists do not accept the transcendental pleasure out of fear of geopardizing of
Yeah.
theory of the oneness. The duality of knowledge and knower is not accepted by the non-dualist. But in the worst, transcendental pleasure realized through transcendental senses is accepted, and
Mm.
this is
Noted by Patanjali.
corroborated by Patanjali's Muni, the famous exponent of yoga system. The great sage declared in his Yoga Sutra 4.34,
Mm.
Purusha, Purushartha Suna.
Asukanaam Punyanaam Vritti Prashava Kaivalyam Swarupa Pratishtha Va Chiti Shaktir iti. Okay,
uh,
read.
yeah. This Chit Shakti or internal potency is transcendental. Purush, Purushartha means material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and at the end, the attempt to become one with the Supreme. This oneness with the Supreme is called Kaivalyam by the monist. But according to the Patanjali, this is Kaivalyam is an internal or transcendental potency by which, by living, the entity become aware of constitutional position. In the word of Lord Chaitanya, this state of affair is called Cheto Darpana Marjanam, or clearance of the impure mirror of mind. This clearance is actually liberation, or Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvarpanam. The theory of Nirvan also preliminary correspond with this principle in Bhagavatam 2.10.6. This is called Swarup Vyavasthita. The Bhagavad Gita also confirms the situation in this verse. Shall I continue, Guruji?
Yeah, basically, Prabhupada is explaining the word Niruddham. Now, it's freed from material things. So this, yeah, so that thing, the other traditions also accept, but no, they don't accept the concept of pleasure. Because for pleasure, then no, the experiencer is there and the experience is there. But they say no, it is jnana, so one will accept the jnana like that they say. But as Prabhupada and our acharyas are quoting, the Patanjali Muni, who is considered as an incarnation, as a divine incarnation. So he himself is also accepting it. Kaivalyam Swarupa Pratishtha. So this is no Swarupa. He's using this word Swarupa Pratishtha. So Swarupa he's using so that, and that is also Prabhupada is quoting some equivalent terms like no Cheto Darpanamarjanam and no Swarupena Vyavasthiti like that. So yeah, the impersonalists they try to interpret these Yoga Sutras also to suit their impersonalist philosophy. Okay, read after Nirvana.
After Nirvana or material cessation, there is the manifestation of spiritual activities or devotional service to the Lord, known as Krishna consciousness. In the word of the Bhagavatam, Swarupa Vyavasthita, this is the real life of the living entity. Maya or illusion is the condition of spiritual life contaminated by material infection. Liberation from this material infection does not mean destruction of the original eternal position of the living entity. Patanjali also accepts this by the words of Kevalyam Swarupa Pratishtita Vas Chiti Shakti Riti. This Chiti Shakti or transcendental pleasure is real life. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra as Anandamayo Bhyasat. This This natural transcendental pleasure is unlimited goal, ultimate goal of yoga, and is easily achieved by executing of devotional service or bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga will be vividly described later, beginning in the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In the
Yeah.
yoga
So,
system,
a minute. So like this, na Prabhupada at some purpose discusses how the other principles of no Dhyana yoga and all are also contained in Bhakti yoga. So this there is one OBA question on this. So you can properly read the purports like the yeah previous verse also no it is there that no this it is more practical no Prabhupada has told that how focusing the mind is no more practical on in devotional service than in Dhyana yoga. So these things you can keenly note down or no whatever, so that that will it will be helpful in answering that question. Okay. Yeah, you can continue.
yeah. In the yoga system as described in this chapter, there are two kind of samadhi called samprajakta samadhi and sampragta samadhi. When one becomes situated in transcendental position by various philosophical researches, he is said to have achieved sampragyata samadhi. In the asampragyata samadhi, there is no longer any connection with mundane pleasure, for one is then transcendental to all sort of happiness derived from the senses. When the yogis is once situated in transcendental position, he is never shaken from it. Unless the yogi is able to reach this position, he is unsuccessful. Today is called yoga practice, which involves various senses pleasure, is contradictory. A yogi indulged in sex and intoxication is a monkery. Even those yogis who are attached by the siddhis perfection in the process of yoga are not perfectly situated. The yogi are attracted by the products of yoga.
The
Then they
byproducts.
cannot, yeah, attracted by product of yoga. Then they cannot attain the stage of perfection. As is situated in this verse, person therefore indulge in the make sure practice of gyne,
Gym-
gymnastic
Gymnastic. Gymnastics.
yeah, gymnastic facts or Siddhi should know by that the aim of yoga is lost in that way.
Yeah. So the byproducts of yoga are the mystic perfections. Of course, now people don't even reach till that level, many. So they may get some health and some kind of fresh look or no freshness in their appearance and all. That too, if they practice properly. So that people focus so much on that, and that is also again to do sense gratification. So, so that is not proper. That is not the proper practice given by the Patanjali, etc. Mm, okay, you can read this last paragraph as long as the
As long as the material body exists, one has to meet the demands of the body, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. But a person who is in the pure bhakti yoga or in Krishna consciousness does not arouse the sense while meeting the demand of the body. Rather, he accepts the bare necessities of life, making the best use of the bad bargain, and enjoy transcendental happiness in Krishna consciousness. He is call, callous toward
careless
callous toward uh, uh,
incident.
incidental
Correct.
occurrence such as accident, disease, scarcity, and even the death of the most dear relative. But but he is always alert to execute his duty in Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga. Accident never deviated him from his duty. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Agamapaniyo nityas
Diksha,
tamasa tikshak bharata. As endures all such I- incidental
incident.
occurrence become because he knows that they come and go, and do not affect his duties. In this way, they achieves the highest perfection in yoga practice.
Okay, so here Prabhupada is explaining Guru Napi Vicharyate. That yes, sometimes we may get affected by some circumstances. There are no some serious if one is going to some serious situations in life, health or no some relationship related, financial and all. One may get disturbed, but one will not get bewildered. No, he will not reject the path of devotional service, etc. So then he is a proper devotee, is properly practicing Krishna consciousness. Now mind is almost controlled, but still there will be some agitation. So that how the yogi deals. Still. Sanischayena yoktavyo yogo anirvinna chetasa.
स निश्चयेन युक्तो व्यो योगो निर्विच्न चेतसा
Sankalpa prabhavan kamam tyaktva sarvan aseshata.
संकल्पा प्रभवत्कामाः त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् अशेषतः
Manasevedriyam gramam viniyamya samantata.
मनसेवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः.
The translation, one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires, born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses and all sides by the mind. So, Nischayena Yoktavya Anirvinna Chetasa means with faith one should endeavor without losing hope. So, through hearing and association, that can be done. So yes, sometimes the question may come, "Arey, I'm not advancing and all." But as we hear and all, so that hope and that inspiration will come. So Nishchaya, so that Nishchaya one can always do that by hearing and association. Sometimes we have to also take guidance if we are having some particular challenges, etc. Then Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. So desires born of lust. So these things one has to reject with determination. And again, the determination also it should be based on shastric knowledge and one's own conviction. So Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman, Manasavendriya Gramam Vinimya Samantata. Then all senses should be engaged. So this way one has to endeavor. So there should be determination based on faith, and then one should reject the material desires, material temptations, and one should be fully engaged. Okay, you can read the highlighted portion.
Yoga practitioner should be determined and should patiently prosecute the practice without deviation. One should be sure of success at the end and pursue this course with the great perseverance, not becoming discouraged if there is any delay in the attainment of success. Success is sure for the rigid practitioner. Regarding Bhakti Yoga, Rupa Goswami says, "Us- uh, yeah. उत्साहात् निश्चयात् धैर्यात् तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगा त्याग सतो वृत्ति षड्भिर भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यति. One can execute the process of bhakti yoga successfully with full-hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, and the determination by following the prescribed duties in the association of devotees by engaging complete in the activities of goodness."
Yeah. So this is a famous statement of Prabhupada. Success is sure for the rigid practitioner. So what is that rigidity? Rigidity is not now you are rejecting all your responsibilities or so not that one. So rigidity is again that should be also understood as per Shastra. So that rigidity is described in this verse. So there should be determination based on Shastra, based on our hearing, and then there should be endeavor to reject all the material desires. It should be a conscious endeavor, and there should be complete engagement. Okay, yes.
Yes. As for determination, one should follow the example of the sparrow who lost her eggs in the waves of the ocean. Sparrow laid her eggs on the shore of the ocean, but the big ocean carried away the eggs on its wave. The sparrow became very upset and asked the ocean to return her egg. The ocean did not even consider her appeal. So the sparrow decided to dry up the ocean. She began to pick out the water in her small beak, and everyone laughed at her for her impossible determination. The news of her activity spread, and at last Garuda, the gigantic bird carrier of Lord Vishnu, heard it, and he becomes uh, compassionate toward her small sister bird, and so he come to see the sparrow. Garuda was very pleased by the determination of the small sparrow, and he promised to help. Thus, Garuda at once asked the ocean to return her egg, lest he
Lest.
himself take up the work of the sparrow. The ocean was frightened at this and returned her eggs. Thus, the sparrow became happy by the grace of Garuda.
Yeah, sometimes that's what the we may not have the power to overcome Maya, but Krishna has the power. So that's why Krishna says, Dhaivi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. So by our endeavor, Maya is Duratyaya. Mameva ye prapatyante, but as we surrender to Krishna, Maya metam tarantite. So then by Krishna's help, we can cross over the ocean of samsara, or no, the power of Maya, the entanglement of Maya. So the same thing, like the sparrow does not have the power to empty the ocean, but Garuda help. So similarly, we don't have power to overcome Maya, Krishna will help. Yes, Yashas Pro has any question?
Uh, yes, Puji. Actually, my question is related to this story because we heard this story in so many lectures. I
Hmm.
just want to know, this is mentioned in any scripture or is just a metaphor to understand the power of determination?
I need to check. Uh, this I need to check from what is the source. I'll try to check and tell you.
Yes, Puji.
I also have not heard. Okay, then so now Shanai Shanai Uparame Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya
शयन शयन उपनेत बुद्धया धृति गृहीतया
आत्मसंस्तम्भन कृत्वा न किंचित अपि चिन्तयेत्.
आत्मसंस्थतं मनः कृत्वा न कश्चिदपि विचिन्तयेत्.
किंचित अपि चिन्तयेत्. Okay, the translation, gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction. And thus, the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. Okay, yeah, you can read the purport.
By proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually chases sense activities. This is called pratyahara. The
Mm,
mind being controlled by conviction, meditation, and cessation from the sense would be situated in trance or samadhi. At,
mm,
at that time, there is no longer any danger of becoming engaged in the material conception of life. In
mm.
other words, although one is involved with the material,
It matter.
one involved with the matter as long as the material body exists, one should not think that sense gratification. One should think of no pleasure aside from pleasure of supreme self.
Mm,
Thus, this state is easily attained by the directly practiced Krishna consciousness.
yeah. So the mind being controlled by conviction, meditation, and cessation from the senses. So yeah, so this is the advanced stage. So when one does it, he will soon get into trance. But we are sadhaka, we also will try. So our consciousness will become more and more purified. So we will be able to focus more and more. So we may not attain trance, but this and recommendations we can also implement. But we may not immediately go to trance, but our ability to focus, purification will be happen. So here also it all gradually, step by step process. Even at an advanced stage also, it happens again step by step. Even Raganuga also, it is a part of sadhana bhakti only. Raganuga bhakti is also a part of sadhana bhakti. You will study in NOD. So there is patience needed at every step. Nothing happens so overnight or not just by some shortcut. It doesn't happen. But it is a science. Yeah, it may take time. It may take for different people different times. So यतो यतो निश्चलति मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरम्.
Oh, sorry. Yato yato nishchalanti manas chanchalam asthiram
ततस्ततो नियम्येत आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत्.
ततस्ततो नियमेयत् आत्मैव वशं नयेत्.
Okay. So from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So that one has to do it. Initially, it may be little austere and it may be more, feel it little difficult or feel frustrated. But as we do it with faith and with inspiration and with inspiration from association of devotees and through hearing, it will become a habit. Yes, complete purport.
The nature of the mind is flickering and unsteady, but a self-realized yogi has to control the mind. The mind should not control him. One who controls the mind and therefore the senses as well is called Goswami or Swami, and one who is controlled by the mind is called Godas or a servant of the senses. Goswami knows the standard of sense happiness. In the transcendental sense happiness, the senses are engaged in the service of Rishikesha or the supreme owner of the senses, Krishna. Serving Krishna with the purified senses is called Krishna consciousness. That is the way of bringing the senses under full control. What is more, that is the highest perfection of yoga practice. If
Yeah, so
sometime the
just a minute. In other practices, they want to separate senses from sense objects. But in Bhakti, it is easy that we direct the senses in engaging in the service of Krishna. Yes, yes. Continue if sometimes.
If sometimes the mind becomes disturbed by subtle senses tendencies of previous lives, he should withdraw the mind from those thoughts. Withdrawing the mind, niyamaya, pratyahara, from whichever object the mind approaches the yogi should make it obedient to the Atma alone. Atmani Vasham Nait, by reflecting on the intense happiness of realizing Atma.
Yeah. So yeah, this is given by our acharyas. So sometimes some sinful tendencies of previous lives may come and all, some bad thoughts. Even it may happen after practicing for significant time. Also, it's may possible. So again, the formula is same. It's not. It is. It is no. We are not purified. It takes time. If you see in the fifth chapter, no, we saw the verse. Okay, with that praksharira vimokshana. कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं शक्नोति एव यश्चोढुं प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः. So as long as this body is there, we have senses and all. So those vasanas can come at any time. So the formula is same. One need not get depressed. No, okay, after practicing this much time also, why it is coming and all. It can come. So our acharyas have told, means it may come. So that's what. It may take time, may take decades, but it will happen. May happen this life, next life, whatever. But we should have that faith through association and hearing, and we should continue. So now Krishna is telling about the effects. Prashantamanasam hiyenam yoginam sukam uttamam.
प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येन योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम्
उपैति rajasam brahmabhutam akalmasham.
उपेन्ति शान्तरजसं ब्रह्मभूतं कल्मषम्.
So the translation, the yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds. Shanta Rajasam, freed from mode of passion. Brahma Bhutam, 8 qualities of soul. So these qualities of soul manifest. The soul is sinless, ageless, deathless, without grief, without hunger, without thirst, blissful, and fulfills his promises. Akalmasham means sinful reactions are fully gone. That kind of previous impressions and all will be gone. So this is describing, we are discussing, it's a very advanced consciousness of a yogi. So we need not evaluate that whether our consciousness is at this level or not, but we should see that this will happen. If we do practice properly, these things will happen. Read the purport.
Yeah. Brahmabhuta is the state of being free from material contamination and situated in the transcendental service of the Lord. Mad bhaktim lavate param. One cannot remain in the quality of Brahman, the Absolute, until one's mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. Sa vai manasah Krishna padar vindai. Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.18. To be always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, or to remain in Krishna consciousness, is to be factually liberated from the mood of passion and all material contamination.
So next further Krishna is describing. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmasha
Yunjanneva sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha.
sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute.
Sukhena brahma sansparsham atyantam sukhamashnute.
So atyantam sukhamashnute. So thus the self-controlled yogi constantly engaged in yoga practice becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. The purport: self-realization means knowing one's constitutional position in relationship to the Supreme. The individual soul is part and parcel of the Supreme, and his position is to render transcendental service to the Lord. Yeah, Brahma samsparsha means experiencing God. See, earlier was told mostly about Shanta Rajasam, means he got liberation and is freed from this and all. But now he's telling Brahma samsparsha. He is experiencing God. Atyantikam Sukham also, unlimited happiness. Yeah. So, yeah. So earlier verse in the Shanta Rajasam Brahma Bhutam Akalmasham, he's more talking about Sukham. The Sukham is no Ashnute means no Atyantam Sukham Ashnute and all. So that he's talking now. Then he's talking how that advanced yogi sees the world and sees uh, the divinity in everyone and all that. सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि.
ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शन.
इक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः.
A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Um, okay, read the purport.
Yeah. A Krishna conscious yogi is the perfect seer because he sees Krishna, the supreme situated in everyone's heart, as super soul Paramatma. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hede Deshe Junastishtati. The Lord is in his Paramatma feature is situated within the both the heart of the dog and that is of the Brahmana. The perfect yogi knows that the Lord is eternally transcendental and is not materially affected by his presence in either dog or in Brahman. That is
That is the distinction.
God's soul is also situated in the individual heart, but he is not present in all heart. That is the distinction between the individual soul and the super soul. One who is not factually in the practice of yoga cannot see the so clearly. A Krishna conscious person can see Krishna in the heart of both the believer and the non-believer. In the Smriti Sat, uh, Satvata Tantra, this is confirmed as follows. Atva,
Tattatvat cha mar- matritvad atma hi paramo hari.
yeah.
The
The
Lord.
Lord, the Lord being the source of all being, is like the mother and the maintainer. As the mother is neutral of all the different kids or kinds of children, the Supreme Father or Mother is also. Consequently, the soul, super soul, is always I always in every living being. Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma, not just an intellectual habit,
Yeah,
but the spiritually empowered vision.
yes. This is the spiritual empowered vision. Okay, you read the highlighted portion.
Okay. The yogi sees equally because he sees that all living entities, although in different situation according to the result of fruitive work, in all circumstances remain the servant of God, while in the material energy, the living entity serves the material senses, and while in the spiritual energy, he serves the Supreme Lord directly.
Yeah. So yeah, he's able to see everyone, no, equally. Means able to see everyone in a spiritual way and equally in a spiritual way. So whether somebody is black or white, somebody is poor, rich, somebody is beautiful, somebody is ugly, somebody is no very sattvic, somebody is very tamasic, but he is able to see everyone as Atma. And that is not again an intellectual, but it's a very natural disposition. This is for a very advanced. Like Prabhupada was very equipoised, even now when he's preaching to people in Africa, or when he's preaching to very rich aristocratic people in West. So Prabhupada is very equipoised. When he's preaching to scientists, or when he's preaching to some crazy hippies, all Prabhupada was always equipoised. He always has the same compassionate mood. He also saw the rich people with compassion as suffering because of separated from Krishna. And he also the same, counterculture hippies also in the same. Yeah. Then he realizes the eternality of relationship. He also feels the presence of Lord everywhere and every time. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati.
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति
Tasyaham na pranishyami sacha me na pranashyati.
तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति.
For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. You read the highlighted portion.
Yeah. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestation of the material nature, but in each and every instance, he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the development of love of Krishna, a position transcendental even to the material liberation. At this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self-realization, the devotee becomes one with the Krishna in sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee, and the devotee becomes full with the loving Krishna. And an intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity can never be annihilated, nor in the personality of Godhead ever out of the sight of the devotee.
Yeah. So means the every disposition of the pure, very advanced devotees will be always in a Krishna conscious way towards everyone because they are able to see everything, in connection with Krishna. So at least we have to have the faith that they are at that position, and we should try to serve them and know, hear from them with a desire that we will be able to at least see Krishna where Krishna is now directly present in the deities, in the holy name, and no in Bhagavatam and all. So that at least if we do that, if we are not mechanical in our sadhana, but we do it in a more Krishna conscious way, by the mercy and blessings, by learning from advanced devotees who are at this level, they are able to see Krishna where Krishna is not directly present also, means in the other living entities and all other things. The Prabhupada quotes the Brahma Samhita and all. सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजति एकात्मस्थिता.
सर्वभूतस्थितो यो मां भजेते एकात्म अस्थितः
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते.
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते.
Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the super soul, knowing that I am the super soul within all creatures are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. So he's absorbed in that consciousness. Earlier, what is that consciousness is being talked about, and now he's always absorbed in that consciousness. Mm. Okay, read the purport.
Yeah. A yogi who is practicing meditation on the super soul sees within himself the plenary portion of Krishna as Vishnu, with four hands, holding conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower. The yogi should know that Vishnu is not different from Krishna. Krishna in this form of super soul is situated in everyone's heart. Furthermore, there is no difference between the innumerable super soul present in the innumerable heart of living entities. Nor is there a difference between Krishna conscious person always engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna and a perfect yogi engaged in meditation on the super soul. The yogi in Krishna consciousness, even though he may be engaged in various activities while in material existence, remain always situated in Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu of Sri Rup Goswami, Nishkyaleva api avasthit avasthato.
निखिलास्वापि अवस्थासु जीवन मुक्तस्य उच्यते.
A devotee of the Lord always acting in Krishna consciousness is automatically liberated. In the Narad Pancharatra, this is confirmed in this way. Uh, Dik, Dikkaladai,
Just a minute. दिक्कालादि अनवच्छिन्ने कृष्णे चेतो विधाय च तन्मायो भवति शुक्रम जीवो ब्रह्मणि योजयेत्.
yeah. By concentrating one's attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna and then attains the happy state of transcendental association with him. Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of trance in yoga practice. This is very understanding that Krishna is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart makes a yogi faultless. The Vedas, Gopal Tapni Upanishad confirmed this inconceivable potency of Lord as follow. Eko api san
एको
bhudhayo Bodhayo Vibhati. Although the Lord is one, he is present in innumerable heart as many. Similarly, as the Smriti Shastra, Matsya Puran it is said, Eka eva paro Vishnu,
मेरा
Sarva,
तुरंत अटक
Sarva,
7-10 मिनट.
Eko evo paro Vishnu, Sarva Vyapi cha samsah, uh,
ऐश्वर्यात्
ऐश्वर्यात्
ऐश्वर्य
ऐश्वर्यात्
रूपम एकम
रूपम
च
एकम च
सूर्य
सूर्यावत सूर्यावत
Bahud,
Bahudhayate.
Bahudhaya.
Vishnu is one, and yet he is certainly all preventing by his inconceivable potency,
You
in
can see,
spite of his one's form. He is present everywhere as the sun appears in many places at once.
yeah. So Prabhupada is explaining the form of Paramatma and he's giving references for that. And this consciousness is possible in every place for the yogi. Sarvatah vartamanopi sa yogi mayi vartate. So always, in every place. Means even Prabhupada was not just, he's conscious in Krishna, in Vrindavan, but also in the West in his preaching like that. Okay, this last verse we'll see. आत्मा आत्माओपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति यो अर्जुन.
आत्मन आत्मन्येव आत्मन आत्मयोपेन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन.
सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं सा योगी परमो मता.
सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः.
Okay, he is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress. Oh, Arjuna. So even if somebody is happy, even if a conditioned soul is apparently externally happy, but the yogi is able to see him spiritually. So spiritual compassion means actual, natural spiritual compassion means with everyone, with everywhere, with everyone, sarvatra, able to see real distress and happiness, and is ready to go any extent to help. So a pure devotee can also see the no, the richest person in the world also as suffering. We may we may also know that they are suffering, and no, logically we may see how they are suffering and all, but we may not feel from that heart and no, may not have that compassion for them. So that will come by spiritual advancement. Okay. Mm, okay, read the highlighted portion.
Since Perfect Yogi tries to broadcast the importance of becoming Krishna conscious, he is the best philanthropist in the world, and he is the dearest savior of Lord. Nacha
Tasmai-
nacha tatsmai manusheshu kashit me
tasmai-
priya Prittamam. In the other word, a devotee of Lord always looks to the welfare of all living entities, and in this way, he is actually the friend of everyone. He is the best yogi because he does not desire perfection in yoga for his personal benefit, but
Mm,
tries to other also. He does
mm,
not envy his fellow living entity.
mm. Yeah, an advanced yogi, he will naturally feel compassion. And Prabhupada is saying one who is actually uh, thinking about others' advancement, he is more better than one who is only focused on getting liberation or getting mystics with this. So that Prabhupada is saying. Okay, so next Arjuna expresses his difficulty in this process is difficult and no mind is difficult to control and all. Then Krishna replies, then another question Arjuna asks. So that reply, Krishna again replies. So that we'll discuss in the next class. So we will be able to complete this chapter by next weekend. So next weekend is now it is sorry, we are in October. So now it is 6th. So 12th and 13th we'll complete this chapter. By 13th we'll complete this chapter. We'll have a revision, possible revision of the entire first 6 chapters. Then we can have exam on Shloka test we can have on 19th and 20th we can have the CB. And you can now submit OBA by 20th, by 19th night. So yeah, the OBA questions I will discuss. Sorry. See, OBA questions I can take you that one. Hmm. I think it will be there in the hand. Let me go. Yeah. So these are the two questions. Explain in your own words the process of sense control by Krishna consciousness with reference to verses, purports, cited analogies and examples from Bhagavad Gita 2.54 to 68. So it is the Sthita Prajna section. Okay. And again, it is not the entire section. It is only till 68 verses. 54 to 68 verses. So in that there are several analogies like the tortoise, and Prabhupada also gives different examples of Vishwamitra, Haridas Thakur, Shiva, like that. He gives different examples. So again, you have to see point wise from the first sloka, what is starting, what is being focused. Then slowly you can elaborate in the sequence. And in that sequence also explain the analogies and all. And your content should be more. You have to explain. You should not just blindly copy from the purport or the verse, etc. You have to give your, based on your own understanding, you have to explain them. And Arjuna's situation and also your own situation also, you have to give 100, 150 words, your own practice of Krishna consciousness also you have to write. So first you can explain the verses and all the concept, and then you can explain about Arjuna's situation and then your own practice. Yeah. And then establish in your own words the superiority of, and yeah, I was correcting the Ishopnishad things. So when you're quoting from the purport, you have to use double quotes. You have to use double quotes, and okay, I'll show in the document only. Yeah, if you're quoting something from the purport, you can write this. You can write XYZ. Like this, you quote it, and you need not fully quote it. You can write like this. And in bracket, you write, no, let's say 2.663 purport. Like that. So, so like this, you write. If you use double quotes, it becomes more authentic and more clear. And like this, you have to give the reference also. Otherwise, if you just see Prabhupada says, no, Prabhupada says where and what exactly Prabhupada says. So then after this, you can explain what that statement you can explain in your own words, and you can relate it to the context like that. Otherwise, if you just say connectedness, well, no, it becomes easy. One has to figure out, why he's writing this and all. Okay. Mm, yeah. And another extreme is you're copy pasting from the same entire purport. That also becomes uh, difficult because both are given weightage. Your own understanding and your and quoting from the purport both should be done. But the purport things it should be as less as possible, not so frequent. You have to more focus is writing your own understanding properly and connecting to the question. That is more important. Okay. Then establish in your own words the superiority of bhakti over the other yoga systems with reference to verses and purports from Bhagavad Gita, chapters 2 to 6. In your answer, explain the following. So the impracticality of yoga systems other than Bhakti Yoga in Kali Yuga. So yeah, so this thing, if we are just studying the sixth chapter, Prabhupada that different times he writes. In Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to focus the mind, to follow all these things, to go to the forest. So that things Prabhupada explained. That is with Dhyan Yoga, but other things also Prabhupada explains. Like for third chapter, he will tell it's very difficult to do all these Varnashrama regulations and all. So you have to see, you have to study the purports carefully, you will find those things. And then how Bhakti Yoga contains all that I have told example, no? So in Bhakti Yoga, this can be automatically done. Mind will automatically gets focused. So those things also Prabhupada says. Then how Bhakti and no, yeah, so already one is dutiful. Like no, one need not perform prescribed duties, but doing devotional service means already he's doing his duty towards Krishna. So like that Prabhupada writes. So one has to read the purports carefully. Of course, this is 2 to 6 chapters, so you have to read carefully to get points. And how bhakti, so then how bhakti yoga can be practiced without having practiced other yoga systems. Yeah, so that also how bhakti yoga can be practiced. So yeah, bhakti yoga does not have prerequisites. Like other yoga systems have some prerequisites. So that you study the 5th chapter, 6th chapter, you will see how the other yoga systems have some prerequisites and how Bhakti Yoga does not need the prerequisites. So that you have to study. You'll get. And you have to do equal justice for all these 3 questions. Sometimes no devotees just write one no one small paragraph for one question. No, for all 3 questions, write some no, good number of points and explain them with references and all. Okay, so okay, yes, Shrikant.
Usually 150 words for both questions, like 150 plus 150.
150, no, 600 to 900 words, no?
For each, like I wanted to know the like distribution.
Acha, this division among the questions,
Yes. Yes.
ABC, like that.
No, like first question 600 words and second question 600 words.
Yeah, yeah, not together. 600 to 900 words. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna
yes,
Prabhuji.
yes, Mata.
Prabhuji,
Okay.
no, Prabhuji, this is Yashraj Prabhuji.
Okay, okay, yes, yes.
Prabhuji, can we take reference from Prabhupada lecture also?
Yeah, lectures on those verses also is okay, but mention it. Hmm?
Okay, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, one more question in the first question.
Hmm.
Can we describe the Arjuna situation in first part, and after that we can write the 54 to 68, or we have to just go with the sequence as per the question.
See, first explain the concepts
Okay.
in those verses
Mm.
with analogies and all. And
Mm.
then you explain why that is being spoken to Arjuna for what purpose.
Okay.
What is the
Yes, Prabhuji.
situation of Arjuna and why those things are being spoken to Arjuna for what purpose.
Mm.
And how that is going to help Arjuna. So that you have to write. And
Okay,
then your
Prabhuji.
own application.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yes, Amrita Mataji, some question.
Prabhuji, I am on traveling maybe in 19 or 20. So can I give close book after that?
Yeah, yeah, you can give. Yes. Yes.
Actually,
Means yeah, if you're traveling, then okay. But if you are out of station, you can give online. But yeah, if you're traveling, then
no,
it's okay.
that day only planned for a traveler. That's why I am asking.
Okay, okay, Mata.
19 or 20. Ticket not confirmed yet, but 19 and 20 is confirmed.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, you can say, just a mail. So for record, that will be better.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
After confirming ticket, I will mail you.
Yeah, you can write mail so that will be good as per record. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam.
Yes, bro.
My writer, someone has to be there, so there will maybe fluctuations here and there.
Yeah, yeah, pardon.
I need I need someone to write the answers of TBA.
Yes, means earlier you were able to arrange, na?
Yeah, I'll be able to arrange Prabhuji. But only that I may not be able to get the writer on the same day when the exams are there. Maybe a day after or earlier if you want.
Yeah, that is also okay. You
Yes,
can,
Prabhuji.
yeah, but you have to inform no beforehand when you are getting and when you can write.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll inform you.
Yeah, better you can write later, but you to inform me so that I can inform the office and then you can write. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Last time it happened the same thing. I could
Yeah.
reach
Yeah.
there and
Inform
then could write.
beforehand. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. No problem. Like,
And Prabhuji, Isopanishad marks I have not told yet.
yeah. So I'm correcting. Maybe I'll correct by Wednesday or so. I'll try to correct Wednesday or Thursday, and I will tell you.
No problem, Prabhuji. I just asked.
Yeah. So based on that feedback, you can also improve. But maybe you can prepare your answers in rough. You can know read the references and all. I'll correct the marks so that you can get some idea where you can improve and all, and you can write. Maybe the
Yes, Prabhuji.
I'll try
Thank you
to
so
give
much,
as
Prabhuji.
fast as possible. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'll try to give as fast as possible that those marks so that you can improve. Okay. Take. Okay.
Thank you
So
so much, Prabhuji.
yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila
Jai.
Srimad
Jai.
Bhakti Vani Prabhupada Krishna